From the snow-capped peaks of Cortina to the pulsing heart of Milan, the world has arrived, and the bench is officially empty. Welcome to Olympics from the Bench. Here we go beyond the primetime tape delay and the polished medal counts to bring you the real grit of the Winter Games. We're talking the locker room drama, the underdog heartbreak, and the ice-cold tactical breakdowns that you won't find anywhere else. Whether the return of the pros to the Olympic ice arena or the chaotic debut of ski mountaineering, we're covering every inch of the 2026 Winter Olympic Games with the humanity, curiosity, and the occasional hot take that only ETB can provide you. And now, here's your host, Callan McClurg. It is a night and day where Olympic history shifted from the aspirational to the immortal. We witnessed the coronation of a snowboarding dynasty and a clinical masterclass from the fastest man to ever wear a Wisconsin accent. It is officially a full week. It is day number 7, my friends, of the 2026 Milan-Cortina Winter Olympics after an off night last night. We are back for Olympics from the Bench right here on ETB, live across YouTube and hopefully on Twitter this evening here from the home studio in San Diego. As always, everybody, Callan McClurg is back with you here. Again, took last night off, back here today to regroup and get ready for what will be day number 8 of competition for Milan-Cortina. And today on this Thursday, February 12th, we didn't just see athletes compete, we saw them ascend. Chloe Kim drops into a frozen cathedral in Livigno and do what no other woman has done, securing 3 consecutive Olympic half-pipe medals. But while Chloe was flying in the mountains, Jordan Stolz was busy turning the ice in Milan into a scorched earth policy and bagging his second individual goal, while the men's hockey team got underway and overcame 2 disallowed goals to put on a clinic against Latvia. The American bench is officially empty because everyone now is on their feet. Again, folks, here on Olympics from the Bench, we do our best to bring you a 30-minute debrief of all things going on in Milan-Cortina to recap the day and, of course, get you set, though, for day number 8 and the next day of action as well here on the Empty the Bench Network. Of course, find us on social media. We're at ETB Network. And, of course, subscribe today over at youtube.com/ETB Network. Again, as we continue to grow those watch hours and get closer to 4,000 watch hours as the time does roll on. But hopefully you can find us, though, on Twitter or on YouTube here for the next roughly 27 minutes and change. Leading off our coverage, folks, Chloe Kim's legendary three-peat as Team USA's own Chloe Kim becomes the first woman to win 3 consecutive Olympic medals in the half-pipe event, a flawless first one of 94.50, featuring back-to-back 1080s and a frontside 1260. Japan's Mitsuki Ono also won a medal today, which, by the way, was a great story involving Chloe and Mitsuki, while veteran half-pipe specialist as well, Carlota Castellet of Spain claimed bronze at the age of 36. You know, folks, I don't know if we have seen a American athlete probably in the winter version of the Olympics, especially for snowboarding, captivate an audience like Chloe Kim has done for the last several years in regards to, I think we all fell in love with Chloe when she was like very young. I think I recall the very infamous, in a good way, the very infamous first event she did, I think like in 2014, 2018. And it was the whole joke about her missing breakfast and wanting a sandwich. And she still had like a flawless score. And now she's gotten a bit older, obviously. But right now, though, it's still tough, I think, to bet against Chloe Kim for any event, though, in the half-pipe, 94.50, a great first run. Again, doing back-to-back 1080s and a frontside 1260. I mean, those are impossible to run, let alone landing them is one thing. Again, though, it was a very, very cool moment, though, for Mitsuki Ono, who I believe actually won a medal in this event, though, too. But the cool interaction, though, folks, about how Chloe and Mitsuki have kind of grown close over the last several years. They trained together, apparently. And when Chloe saw Mitsuki make her run, though, and how they embraced after the event was over and how cool of a moment that was, though. And again, really shows, though, where the Olympic Games are at right now. But I'll tell you what, American halfpipe snowboarding has always been one of my favorite events in general. And, I think a lot of that, though, was set with Shaun White for a long time on the men's side. And someone may have to correct me, though. Have we really seen a American female snowboard halfpipe hero that is as great, if not even better, than Shaun White? Because I think it's been tough to probably have that. And I think Chloe Kim now becomes that after these last 3 games that we've seen her compete, though, with the three medals, again, winning 3 in a row at 3 consecutive Olympic Games now. So Chloe Kim with her three-peat inside the women's snowboarding halfpipe on day 7. Inside on the speed skating track, Jordan Stolz followed up his 1,000-meter gold by conquering the 500-meter drag race. Stolz goes a blistering 34.22 to take home his second gold of these games, and the first American since the man I mentioned a couple days ago, Eric Heiden, to win multiple individual speed skating golds in the same Olympic Games, nearly edging out David Bosa of Italy and Canadian veteran Laurent Dubroy as well at that 34.22 time. And again, folks, it was pretty interesting because I tried to remember about Eric Heiden when we were last here on Wednesday, or on Tuesday, I should say, because I was drawing a blank, though, because I basically was saying, here now is our modern day Eric Heiden. Couldn't think of the guy's name, though, until, like about 10 minutes later. But for an event, though, like speed skating, where it's been so heavily dominated by the likes of either Canada or Italy or the Netherlands during the course of the women's events, though. And because I even said, though, too, last show here, that even with speed skating on the men's side, we have Aaron Jackson and Brittany Bowe, for example, on the women's side for speed skating. But who would become the new torchbearer, literally and figuratively, for a men's speed skating legend? The likes of Eric Heiden, for example. Then we had Apollo Ano for a bit. And now here again, much like Chloe Kim, a new face has taken that torch now when it comes down to men's speed skating, and that is Jordan Stolz, who again wins another gold medal. He conquered the 1,000-meter and now won the 500-meter drag race, again going a scorched earth 34.22 to take home his second gold of the Olympic Games. Becomes the first American skater since Eric Heiden won multiple individual speed skating golds back in the same Olympic Games. Again, he nearly edges out David Bosa of Canada and Laurent Dubroy as well in the speed skating 500 drag race today. So congrats to Jordan Stolz with 2 medals already under his belt. Going over to the men's hockey opening round today. I got to watch the first couple of games today with Canada and the Czechs, and also, of course, Team USA playing at high noon today. It was a bit of a slow start for the American side, though. After a 1-1 first period, though, they poured it on, though, with a 5-1 victory over Latvia's national team. Brock Nelson of the Colorado Avalanche was the man of the game, bearing 2 goals in the second period after having 2 other goals in the game wiped out because of 2 brilliant coaches' challenges, though, by the Latvian head coaching staff, while Brady Tkachuk and Matthew Tkachuk both paired up for the first goal of the game. Austin Matthews and Tage Thompson also scored as Team USA beat Latvia 5-1. Obviously, the first game, though, folks, were the men, because they had a bit of a longer time to come to Milan after the NHL went on break at the very end of the first week of this month, though, with some teams ending their play on Tuesday, some ending their, and some teams ending on Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday. And that was a bit of a thing I did notice a little bit, though, in the first period, because we know that, of course, this is essentially now, it's NHL dream teams for a lot of the countries. Team USA, Canada, Sweden partially, Finland, Czechia, for example. And even though they play against each other, now it's different, though, that you have to snap out of the, I want to fight this guy, then now I got to play with this guy for the next 11 days, roughly, if not longer, as the tournament still unfolds here. And I did notice that a little bit, though, that they went up 1-0 kind of early. Latvia came right back, tied it up, though, after a bit of a mad scramble, a defensive breakdown. And then Team USA kind of in a way maybe gets hosed in people's minds with 2 disallowed goals. Now, one of them, though, was pretty, plain as day. They were offside by a good 1.5 feet on the one that did get challenged and was taken off the board. The goalie interference one, though, is always going to be one that's going to be controversial for everybody out there, because you have your definition of what the rule is. I have my own rule of what my own definition of the rule, though. But as soon as they kind of got their legs under them, though, and they probably began to, knock some rust off. Hey, they haven't played in about a week or, a week's time roughly since the NHL went on break, though. And then eventually it was going to become a blowout, though. You were just kind of waiting for them to get that first 20 minutes, maybe 25 or 30 minutes out of the way, though. And again, 2 goals from Brock Nelson. Brady Tkachuk scores. Austin Matthews scores. And Tage Thompson also scores. As Team USA wins 5-1, though, they're currently in second place via the +4 goal differential after Canada whitewashed Czechia 5-0 in their first game of the tournament. That kicked off the morning slate of games, or the slate of games today, over in the men's hockey event, with the women resuming play on Friday as they begin bracket play finally after getting through round robin play. But to recap our opening 3 topics, though, again, Chloe Kim, 3 consecutive medals, though, in the women's snowboarding halfpipe. Jordan Stolz wins another gold medal to once again make history for the first time since Eric Heiden did this by winning individual speed skating golds in the same Olympic Games. And again, Team USA men's hockey beats Latvia 5-1 with Brock Nelson with 2 goals in the game. Brady Tkachuk also scoring, Austin Matthews scoring, as did Tage Thompson. Team USA will move on to their next game coming up in about a day's time against Denmark on Saturday from Milan-Cortina with face-off at 10 after 12 back on either NBC or on USA Network for your viewing interest. Going, folks, to the medal count after 7 days of competition. Team USA is right back in the fold and swing of things. Still down by 2 total medals, though, but they still have racked up more medals after day 7. The Norwegians still on top of the medal count, 8, 4, and 6, 8 gold, 4 silver, and 6 bronze for 18 total. Team USA, 6, 5, and 5, 6 golds, 5 silvers, and 5 bronzes for 16 total. Italy, 4, 5, and 8 for 17. Germany, 5, 4, and 4 for 13. And Switzerland, 4, 3, and 3 is where our medal count stands right now. Team USA again officially surpassing Italy in the total count and right behind the Norwegians by only down by 2 golds after their allotted time today on this Thursday. Going over, folks, to our ETB Network performance of the night goes to Team USA men's hockey player Brock Nelson, again, who probably could have had 4 goals in this game. But as I said, though, Brock Nelson had 2 goals wiped off the board, though, by the referees in the first 20 minutes. Now, again, as I kind of said, though, at the top, though, or at the very back end, though, of our bronze medal story, though, with the Team USA victory over Latvia, one of them, though, clear as day offside. The foot was not in touch with the blue line when the puck had crossed the line. Again, the second one, though, about the goalie interference, though, I get it. Again, the rule is so much, it's a wish. It's really wishy-washy about who calls it, though. So, though, for Brock Nelson, good way for him to rebound, though, after having 2 taken off the board, and still scores 2 more, despite what had gone on. Checking in, though, folks, on Team USA after another day of action, though, Jessie Diggins secured a bronze medal today in the 10-kilometer classic of cross-country skiing, collapsing at the finish line in a state of total exhaustion. Again, she made it, obviously was another big Team USA member 4 years ago in the same event, though, winning that event. In figure skating, Elisa Liu sits in 3rd place right now after a crystalline short program, trailing Japan's Karori Sakamoto heading into tomorrow's free skate in Milan. And in the skeleton, Mystique Rowe is in 4th place after 2 heats and just 0.12 off of the podium for Team USA in cross-country skiing, figure skating, and in the skeleton. Obviously, folks, there are, though, some undercurrent stories, though, away from the games, though. You probably had heard, though, about what had gone on, though, over the course of the day really early this morning with the luge event and the skeleton event, though. But, of course, the big story of the day, though, was the controversy around Ukrainian skeleton competitor Vladislav Huraskevich for the helmet he was wearing, and he was officially banned from competition right before his event was going to be starting due to the fact that Heraskevich, who was the Ukraine's flag bearer at this year's opening ceremony, is no longer allowed to compete after he refused to adhere to the IOC athlete expression guidelines per a IOC statement by wearing a helmet that depicted people killed, though, in his home country with the ongoing war with Russia. The IOC also said that Heraskevich did not consider any form of compromise and was scheduled to compete in the men's skeleton event on Thursday as a potential medal contender for the Ukraine. Again, this is due to the fact, again, that the IOC has much stricter rules, though, about athletes expressing themselves almost in wake, though, of what, of course, we know happened in the Mexico City Games in 1968. Per NBC News sources, though, but Haraskevich has said that the helmet featured figure skater Dimitro Shapar, his 2016 Youth Olympic Games teammate, and boxer Maxim Halinevich, among others killed during the war, some of whom were actual Ukrainian Olympians at one point in time. The decision came not long after, or not long before, Haraskevich would have begun his men's event on Thursday. Earlier in the week, though, the IOC had already confirmed that he would not be allowed to compete with the helmet, which he wore during training runs at the Cortina Sliding Center. And furthermore, per NBC News sources, the IOC offered Haraskevich a compromise earlier in the week of him being able to wear a black armband rather than the helmet, or also the possibility of him wearing the helmet during training immediately after the competition, but not during the actual scheduled event. In part, his Twitter statement reads in part that he says in part that he never wanted a scandal with the IOC, requesting that the IOC lift the ban on the helmet, apologize for the pressure that he has put on, and he also apologized for the pressure that has been put on me over the past few days, and provide electric generators for Ukrainian sports facilities that are suffering from the daily shellings of the Russian military forces. Mark Adams of the IOC further confirmed during the week that there was a meeting held with the coach and the delegation during the course of the week leading up to the skeleton event. Additionally, the Ukrainian Olympic Committee shared a letter earlier this week to the IOC seeking full permission for Haraskevich to train and compete in the helmet, writing that it fully complies with safety requirements and IOC rules, does not contain advertising, social, political slogans, or discriminatory elements, and was confirmed as meeting established standards during official training. Very much, folks, a lot of legal mumbo jumbo here with this story, and obviously, the IOC has one thing to say. Is it really that egregious? I mean, it wasn't anything about Putin or anything. Again, obviously, yes, it's bringing light to a very sensitive talking point that has been obviously going on globally. But there wasn't anything else there wasn't anything derogatory about, the Russian, about Russia, about Putin. It literally just had it literally had people who at one point were Olympians who have in fact lost their lives in wake of global war right now over in that part of the world. And obviously, I get it though too. It's like you work your whole life to get to the Olympic Games though, and this is how you kind of go out. I fully understand it though, but to further kind of in a way add more to the story though real quick, the IOC has long though held strict rules though about political acts though during the games. Rule 50.2 of the Olympic Charter states that no kind of demonstration or political, religious, or racial propaganda is permitted in any Olympic sites, venues, or other areas, with, of course, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky offering support for Haraskevich for the controversy, but before the DQ, President Zelensky thanked the athlete in a statement that he had written over on Twitter. Furthermore, Latvian luge athlete Yula Zororn was also another figure who reacted to Haraskevich's disqualification, writing on social media that she felt ashamed, saying in part that behind the lights and national pride is a system driven by politics, hierarchy, and money. A system where organizations grow powerful while athletes are treated as tools. The Olympic dream has been carefully built, protected, and sold. It's time that we all start to question it, open and close quote. So again, folks, it's been a bit of a undercurrent today, at least, here as we end day 7, going into day 8 on Friday. It's very much, though, a very topsy-turvy ordeal. Obviously, we've seen plenty of other things that have been talked about, though, regarding these stances, though, when it boils down to athlete expression. But I also get it, though, at the Olympic Games, though, they try to keep it about the Olympic spirit in the games. So obviously we know about the episode that of course had happened involving, the comments of Boomer Esiason and the questioning, much like Nick Morrison and myself had talked about, though, about the questioning of American athletes, though, by the press at the Australian Open. Now even here again, too, with Hunter Hess of the ski team, who got asked about, what was going on. Again, these athletes, folks, are not compelled to answer these questions. We need to focus on the games here, sadly. And if you don't like what they're saying, then we can agree to disagree. What's so wrong about doing that? I'm here to focus on the games and focus on what's going on here. Will I bring up stories like this, though, because they are, in fact, a undercurrent of the Olympic Games? Absolutely. But it's also, in a way, taking away about what we should be celebrating here. Like that commercial involving, the Laker fan and the Celtic fan at the gym. We should be coming together and enjoying these games. Doesn't matter about any of the other BS going on in the world right now. We should be here regardless of stances on stuff at home or what people say about what's going on in D.C. right now with the government. Enjoy the games. That's what we're here for at the end of the day. With that in mind, though, folks, getting back on track here to what is planned for Friday. An action-packed slate begins at about 1 a.m. Pacific time. The men's 15-kilometer cross-country classic with Ben Ogden trying to hunt down the Norwegians again, as he already won a medal earlier on in the week. At 3 a.m., women's skeleton finals, rounds 3 and 4, with Mystique Rowe sliding for the podium here as well. At 5:15 a.m., the men's Super G Alpine version with Franjo van Aelman seeking a historic 4th gold medal in that event. At 7:45 a.m. Pacific time, the short track speed skating event, the women's 500 meters and men's 1,000 finals with Kristen Santos Griswold being favored in that event. At 9:30 a.m., the women's 7.5 kilometer sprint for biathlon with Lou Zamono of France is the one to watch in this event. 11 a.m. women's free skate figure skating with both Alyssa Liu and Isabu Levito, I should say, facing the music for the medals in this one. Women's hockey is back in action in the quarterfinal round. Team USA versus Italy at 1:30 in the afternoon, and at 3 p.m. men's curling. John Schuster and the boys are back in a winner-go-home scenario versus Norway at 3 o'clock Pacific time in the afternoon tomorrow. So definitely a lot brewing with where we're at going into day number 8 of competition over in Milan-Cortina. Again, it's been a very great game so far at this stage. Recapping the medal count once more, gang, after 7 days so far of competition. Norway, Team USA, Italy, Germany, and Switzerland at this rate with where things do stand. There was another update, folks, that I can bring you here regarding, and we've been kind of, again, keeping an eye on the story, though, but per reports gathered from TSN and from other sources, but Canadian superstar Marie-Philippe Poulin will, in fact, be healthy and ready for the knockout round of the upcoming women's hockey playoff round after she missed the last couple of games due to a lower body injury. Poulin did not play, though, in the last 2 games with Team USA, beating them 5-0, while they also beat the Finns on Thursday 5-0 to clinch the number 2 seed and also end the preliminary round finale. But she did, though, skate in the morning before the game at Milan's Rio Ice Arena. Team head coach Troy Ryan did say, in part, all I've heard was she was positive and felt good, and medical was pleased with it. I didn't go. That's a situation you don't need coaches. It's more medical and for her to get a feel for things. Again, folks, as a reminder, Poulin has not played, though, since she was injured midway through the first period of the 5-1 win over Czechia. The 33-year-old forward was checked hard on the boards by Czechia's Kristina Kaltakova. She did not play in the game against Team USA on Tuesday and did not play on Thursday versus Finland either. The semifinals are set for Monday, with the medal games beginning on February 19th. Poulin tried to play on after the hit, though, but the captain left the offensive zone mid-shift on a subsequent power play and headed to the locker room. She later returned to the bench to support her teammates and skated a few test circles after the first period concluded, though, but did not return for that game for Team Canada. After that game did, in fact, come to a conclusion. It was and again, folks, I may have said this, though, when Team USA beat Canada, it was a very freak play, though, of like, it was a hit. And then, like, the legs kind of got tied up, though, with the Czechia player against the board. She tried it again with that little sequence, though, over the course of the power play, though, and again, did not really feel something really adding up right there. So, again, smart, though, probably for her to sit out the game or two, again, give that leg a bit more time to heal up and get ready for when it really counts the most. So we'll see, though, how at full strength, though, will Team Canada be coming up for the stretch run of the tournament for women's hockey. To recap the rest of the men's hockey scoreboard, again, as they finally got themselves off the ground and running back on Thursday. Scores from around the rest of the Olympics for hockey. Germany defeated Denmark early in Group C, 3-1 a final score in that matchup over in Italy. Also, wrapping up as well on Thursday, just kind of waiting for the scores to finish up loading here. Other finals again, Canada beat Czechia 5-0, and the Swiss shut out France 4-0. So not a lot of offense for a couple of teams today. A combined total of 3 shutouts, or 2 shutouts and 2 shutouts after day one of action over in men's hockey for the Olympic Games in Italy here today, with where things have stood after the opening day of the event. Current standing. So after one game of play, Canada and the Swiss on top of Group A with 3 points, while in Group B, it is Slovakia and Sweden also with 3 points in Group B. Team Germany and Team USA are also 1-0 in Group C. Coming up, though, on Friday to refresh the Friday schedule, though, for men's hockey at the Olympic Games. Coming up, though, on the 13th, it will be Slovakia and Italy at 3:10 a.m., Sweden and Finland at 3:10 a.m., Czechia, France at 7:40, and Switzerland takes on Canada, who plays back-to-back games. They'll be in the prime 12:10 p.m. slot for the Friday day of action over in Milan-Cortina. So far, folks, so good. I know that, of course, the main story and main talking point, though, of what has gone on, though, with the ice problems, though, in Italy. So far after day one, it's been great. Let's hope that it holds up, though, for day 2 and for the remainder of the tournament coming up on the flip side. But again, folks, to recap, though, what, in fact, we talked about tonight on the program. Once more, again, Chloe Kim does it again. A three-peat for Chloe Kim, though, in the snowboard half-pipe event. A flawless 94.50 featuring back-to-back 1080s and a frontside 1260. In that event, Jordan Stolz on the speed skating track again wins another gold medal to match that of the man himself, Eric Heiden, who to win multiple individual speed skating golds in the same Olympic Games. Team USA men's hockey 5, Latvia 1, Brock Nelson a pair of goals. Brady Tkachuk had a goal. Austin Matthews and Tage Thompson also light the lamp as Team USA opens up with a +4 goal differential after day one of men's hockey competition. Again, to recap the medal count once more for we get out here for the night. Norway, 8 golds, 4 silvers, and 6 bronzes for 18. Team USA, 6-5-5 for 16 medals. Italy, 4-5-8 for 17. Germany, 5-4-4 for 13. And Switzerland, 4-3-3 for 10 to round up the top 10 of the evening from the total medal count. Brock Nelson, our performer of the night, again with 2 goals in the game after having 2 of them taken off the board by 2 different Latvia coaches' challenges in today's game. Checking back in on Team USA, Jessie Diggins wins a bronze medal in the 10-kilometer classic, collapsing at the finish line in a state of total exhaustion for that event for Jessie Diggins. Alyssa Liu is in 3rd place after 1 day of competition for the short program for figure skating, trailing Japan's Kaori Sakamoto into the free skate event tomorrow. And Mystique Rowe is currently in 4th place in skeleton after 2 heats and only 0.12 seconds off the podium time. Again, to recap tomorrow's slate, again at 1 a.m. Pacific time tomorrow morning, the men's 15-kilometer cross-country classic. 3 a.m., the women's skeleton finals runs 3 and 4. 5:15 a.m., the men's Super G Alpine event. 7:45 a.m., short track speed skating. 9:30 a.m., the women's 7.5-kilometer biathlon sprint. 11 a.m. is the women's figure skating free skate with Alyssa Liu and Isabu Levito for Team USA. 1:30 p.m., Team USA women's hockey quarterfinal round versus Italy. And at 3 p.m., men's curling. John Schuster and the boys are back. Winner go home versus Norway to round out a nice day of coverage tomorrow for day number 8 of Olympic coverage. Folks, due to my work schedule, we still plan to be here in the evening at about 10:30 or 11 o'clock Pacific time tomorrow. But in the end, though, folks, one queen has her crown and one king has his blades, and the boys are on the ice and are just getting started, folks. Thanks again for joining us here on another day of coverage here from Olympics from the Bench. We are going to be hopefully back with you folks tomorrow for day number 8 coverage, really late in the evening here out on the West Coast to recap a 8th day of action in the 2026 Milan-Cortina Olympic Games. Until then, folks, have a great night, and maybe you'll be up to watch some events in about an hour or two if you're out here on the West Coast, if you're just getting up on the East Coast, folks. Until tomorrow, have a great night. Till next time, thanks again for watching here on ETB. Till next time, have a good one. Bye-bye.